in on the screen with the tie. So please just glance over there if you're in some mystery as to what's happening next. This won't affect, and I believe has not affected, those of you on Zoom watching from their home. Secondly, most Sundays here at UUCSS, people share their joys and sorrows themselves before we share silence and a congregational prayer together. Today, Reverend Kristin will share joys and sorrows that people emailed to us last night. If you are here in the sanctuary today, you can also write down your joy or sorrow on a note card. We will collect the note cards just after time for all ages. If you need a note card now, please feel free to raise your hand, and a member from Sunday Support will bring one to you. Is there anyone out there who would like a note card?
Over here.
Yeah, please keep your hand raised so Florence can identify you and get your pencil as well. I'd also like to welcome any guests or visitors in the congregation today. Every one of us has had the experience of being here for the first or second time, whether we were brought here as a baby or chose to come here later as adults. We welcome everyone in the fullness of who they are, and we are glad you are here today. Dorothy Hale, sitting in the back, is our welcoming captain. She's available to answer questions about our congregation, both for those here in the sanctuary and those attending on Zoom. Now it's time to greet our neighbors. I invite those joining us by Zoom to take a moment and turn your camera on, and for people here in the sanctuary to turn and face your neighbor, and also look at the camera to your right and wave in greeting right over there across the platform divide. Now, in a moment, we'll join in singing number 128, For All That Is Our Life, our opening hymn. But first, I invite everyone on Zoom to greet one another in the chat, and for people here in person to greet our neighbors in the sanctuary, whether by waving, elbow bumping, or another appropriate form of greeting. But remembering that we are social distancing. When the music starts, it will be time to return to your seats and sing. Okay, talk amongst yourselves.
Michael. With all this noise going on, I think I'll play it through. All right? All right? Right. And I'm going to start now. Start at the third bar. Yeah.
We're going to kind of practice it for you right now. The meditation kit is adapted from a handful of flowers by McConachie, and inside there are 4 stones. The first stone represents a flower. Flowers remind us that we are growing and blooming, and particularly remind our teachers of how grateful we are for the nurturing they provided to our community. The meditation reminds us that we can breathe in and see ourselves as a flower, as Peter was saying, and breathing out, we feel better. The next stone is a mountain. Mountains remind us that we are strong and grounded. Breathing in, we see ourselves as a mountain, and breathing out, we feel solid. The next stone is calm, still water. Still water reminds us that we are clear and calm. Breathing in, we see ourselves as still water. And breathing out, receiving and reflecting how they are. And the last stone represents faith. Like the moon moving through the night sky, breathing in, we see ourselves as faith. And breathing out, we feel peace. I hope our speakers will use these little meditation kits to remember all they have nurtured, reflected, and grown in our community this year. If you volunteered in our leadership, online or in person, one time as a substitute or all throughout the year, will you please stand or raise your hand so that we can give you a round of applause? And as we do so, our kids will come and give you a
Prayer means a great many things to a great many people. UU Minister Reverend Erica Hewitt says that prayer is one word for the alignment of our full attention with our desire to connect with that which is larger than us. Retired UU Minister Reverend Tom Shade calls prayer naming the goodness. We have so much to be thankful for, to appreciate, to lift up in praise, especially this Appreciation Sunday. And it's also true that many of us carry deep worries and fears, concerns and sorrows. In this spirit of naming goodness, of aligning our full attention with that which is bigger than we are, of opening ourselves to being heard and changed, I invite you into a moment of quiet, followed by a prayer. Let us now enter into a time of silence for reflection, meditation, and prayer. If you have lost a friend or loved one in the last year, I invite you to stand or raise your hand so the congregation can bear witness to your grief. Spirit of life, oneness in all and in whom all are one, we have gathered here in the midst of the fullness of life with gratitude for all of the joy and gifts and blessings we've received. We are here, sharing this time and space with hearts grateful for the many people whose time, energy, passion, grit, dedication, and good humor make this community possible. For all those who came before us, whose commitment and faithfulness gave us this beautiful campus, this kind-hearted community, we give thanks and praise. This morning, we give special thanks for these joys shared by this gathered congregation. First, Patrick and Catherine Burke share their joy that their adoption profile went live this week. We also lift up in joy today that the Thena family, whom UUCSS has sponsored through the refugee resettlement process since January, Mom Jamila welcomed a 6-pound baby boy, Arsalan, late Tuesday, May 31st. Mom and baby are doing well. Along with our joy for Arsalan's safe and healthy birth, we give thanks for Stephanie McConachie, who offered steadfast support to Jamila all through labor and delivery. Yes. And for all of the other UUCSS volunteers who have supported this family in settling their new lives here in Silver Spring. Pat Scheid shares a joy this morning. She's sorry to miss the flower communion next week. She will be in Michigan for the burial of her dad's ashes, a sorrow and a joy, who passed away last November. Her joy is seeing her siblings and mom after several months. This morning, we also lift up these sorrows and concerns from among those gathered here and now. Today, we lift up the Mears family, and especially Rachel, who is struggling with a nasty and lingering flu bug that is not COVID, but that sickened Lori and grandson Ezra, but has really clobbered Rachel. So we pray for Rachel's healing and comfort. And we hold the whole Mears family in our hearts as they prepare to say goodbye to their sweet 8.5-year-old dog Maisie on Tuesday. Maisie has been an affectionate and playful companion to the Mears grandchildren, but has struggled with seizures and loss of the full use of her rear legs. You may remember hearing about her in a sermon Preston gave a few years ago. Together with Preston, Lori, and the whole Mears clan, we celebrate Maisie's life and feel pain at her coming loss. Catherine Buckler shares her sorrow that anti-Semitic flyers seemingly designed to both intimidate and recruit have been posted in nearby neighborhoods. May sorrow and horror at how hate shows up inspire us and our larger community to connect and discuss ways we might show loving solidarity with each other and make it clear that hatred and intimidation will not be tolerated here. Patty Bryan Taff. Her best friend Eliza has cystic fibrosis. In her childhood, her maximum life expectancy was 18 because of a medical advancement when we were 12. I was able to meet her at 19, and this week they turned 48. Because of a medical advancement last year, she now has energy to produce and promote her art, and last week, Patty went to her first art show and bought her first children's book. And a sorrow. Grandson Jonah collided with a car on Tuesday. The car won, the bike lost. Injured his femur and ankle, so he's had one of 2 operations and will be on crutches all summer. May the comfort that mends broken hearts, the strength that makes life possible, the goodness that makes life worth living, the abundance that inspires us to be generous, the roots that hold us close, and wings that set us free, and the love that binds us together all sing in our hearts, move in our hands, and help us to live our lives in the shape of justice. Spirit of life, come unto us in life, as in this prayer. Blessed be. Amen. Even though it's probably my least favorite part of being a minister, the task of writing my annual report always makes me feel a little bit wistful. And since today, after the service, is our annual meeting, and the end of June marks the end of our church program year, it makes sense to want to take stock of the year that's about to end, review all we've done, and share together as a community. And my, oh my, what a difference a year makes in both positive and challenging ways. The past 12 months have brought changes and innovations, hardships and setbacks, and some big successes too. It's hard to believe that a year ago I led this Appreciation Sunday service online because we hadn't been able to return to in-person services yet. Since then, we've transitioned to offer more of our worship and programming, both in person and online, undertaken the sponsorship of a refugee family from Afghanistan, demonstrated for our freedoms, worked to care for these buildings and grounds, and so many other things, all while contending with uncertainty and rapid changes in the world around us. There have been new variants of the virus. The economy has changed profoundly. Costs are rising. Democracy, both here and abroad, faces new threats. Horrific warfare in so many places wages on. And the United States continues to bear the consequences of poverty, systemic racism, a profound lack of basic services, or easy access to deadly weapons. In the midst of it all, I've heard many people, from friends and colleagues to news anchors and public figures, openly question whether this country or even the world is falling apart. I found myself wondering the same things at times, especially when I see the latest news update ping on my phone. This year has held so many successes, personal, congregational, national, but somehow lately it's the challenges that seem to stand out. And it's all too easy to interpret these challenges as evidence that we are nearing the end. But as our theological and ecclesiological cousins in the United Church of Christ are fond of saying, maybe we shouldn't put a period where God or time or the universe is putting a comma. I have no idea what the future holds. 5 years ago, I couldn't possibly have imagined all that we'd live through, all that we'd lose, all we'd have to grieve. Given all that's happened, it feels just as hard to imagine what things will be like 5 years from now. What will going to work be like? What challenges will we be facing? What will this congregation be like? What differences will we have made in the lives of one another and in those in our communities who need what we can give? In Christian churches near and far, today marks Pentecost, which is basically the birthday of the capital C Church. It's a fun story with the Holy Spirit descending on Jesus' friends and followers with strong winds and tongues of fire, and everyone speaking different languages so they could spread the good news of the gospel of love to the four corners of the earth. The thing I love most about this pretty weird story is the way that it casts diversity, not as a challenge, not as a curse, but as a positive tool, as a blessing. As my friend and colleague, the Reverend Shane Montoya, wrote a few days ago, Pentecost is a reorientation of human potential. The rich mosaic of human experience is a blessing, not a curse. In the Pentecost story, people do not have to give up their language, their culture, their foods to be understood by one another. The miracle isn't that we all become monolithic. It's that we can reach across boundaries and understand each other. Today, which for us is both Appreciation Sunday and the day of our annual meeting, I am thankful for the gifts that each and every one of you has shared with this community for the sake of our values. But the thing I most appreciate is your faithfulness to those values. Values which call us to move beyond the ways we've always done things and into the innovative, the as yet untried, the it might fail, the new. I appreciate the way this community embraces change, always up for an experiment, always interested in how we can be and do better. We might not have tongues of fire above our heads right now, but this is a community that is doing new things and going new places and crossing all manner of boundaries. And I'm really excited about some of the new things we're going to try together starting especially in the fall. You may have read in the all-church email I sent out, or in my annual report, or in the email that Laura sent out about the new RE schedule that will begin on September 11th with religious education classes for children, youth, and adults on Sundays at 9:30. But in the meantime, today we celebrate. We lift up with gratitude the many in this congregation whose service makes UUCSS the dynamic, vibrant, always changing, always evolving congregation that it is. I'm grateful not only because I get to share my gifts with you, but because of how much I am always learning from you. I hope that everyone who has served and volunteered this year feels appreciated today. And as we move forward, I hope we will all keep the takeaway from the Pentecost story in mind, that differences among us in language and culture, preferences and perspectives, even spirituality and theology, these differences among us are our strength. They are what makes this community so rich. They are the sources of our blessing. Our diversity is what will help us continue to evolve into the church that the world needs us to be. May it be so, and may we make it so. Amen. Let us now mark this Appreciation Sunday with a simple ritual of thanks. When I name a role, group, committee, council, task force, fill in the blank, on which you've served this year, please rise or raise your hand. Today we thank the members of our board, our president, secretary, VP of personnel, VP of finance, VP of planning, the members of the finance committee, our treasurer and collectors, and everyone involved in making sure mail comes in and goes out, the lights keep turning on, and staff receive their paychecks and benefits. Thank you. There's a lot of people to thank, so maybe we can clap at the end. I feel like one of those graduation announcers when I say that. We thank all those who have served on the Capital Improvements Committee, the Labor Brigade, our volunteer gardeners, everyone on the Property Committee. We thank the members of the Annual Budget Drive Committee, everyone who volunteered this year as a steward, and our matching donors. We thank our worship committee and worship associates, Sunday support volunteers, our choir and bands, tech directors and sound volunteers, anyone who has contributed to any worship service this year. We thank the members of our Rainbow Alliance, our racial justice and Eighth Principle task forces, Defending Democracy and Green Sanctuary. We thank the membership and deaf access committees, the IT committee, the committees on shared ministry. We thank the Administrative Operations Committee, the Operations Council, and everyone on our Program Council. As we've already acknowledged, it takes a great many people to help raise up our children and help each of us continue growing our souls and spirits. We give thanks for the RE committee, anyone who has ever volunteered in RE, and everyone who has participated in an RE class. Thank you to everyone who has embroidered names on our quilts, who has picked up the phone or written a card or sent an email to check in on another person here at UUCSS, including our lay ministers. We thank our staff, who have all worked incredibly hard this year, honing skills we didn't know we'd even need until the pandemic hit. I had to learn how to become a televangelist, who knew? Things I did not learn in seminary. Tending to the needs of this community, all while carrying fear and concern for their own during year 2 of a global pandemic. And thanks to everyone I may have forgotten, I know you're out there, and those who carry out important tasks out of love for this community about which I may not even be aware. Thank you. Let's show our appreciation with a round of applause.
So staff tag team here. Michael Holmes, music director here, he, him, his. And let me take my mask off here. What do you need? Oh, her mask. Yes. That's okay. The last time I gave my words of appreciation for the music program was in a special reception in our community hall in 2019. I remember I had so many things to say, and they were written on a very large stack of slips of paper, which about a year later I found in some coat somewhere. Today I'll be much more succinct, hopefully, if it's possible for me. Summarizing those points and renewing my lifting up of the incredible people who make up the UUCSS music program, who've shaped my life and musical development profoundly. First, here's a quick list of the fabulous ensembles we are graced with, some of which are autonomous from my direction and autocracy. They are the Sanctuary Singers Choir. For most churches, often choir is at the heart of the music program. Our choir sings 2 out of 4 Sundays on average. Wouldn't you love to join the choir next fall? That was a shameless plug there. I digress. The UUCSS House Band, which you've heard many, many times, the ensemble has had a long evolution with many name changes based on auction naming entries, or people pay for it. The last name we had was the Call of the Dream House Band, and that's stayed for maybe about 6 or 7 years, something like that. But now who's remaining: Doyle Rice on drums, Don Berkmeyer bass, Bob Hirsch on guitar, Steve Wilmarth on guitar at times. UUCSS a cappella group. I really love this group, sometimes called the Sorta Cappella group, because depending on the size, which changes, we sometimes use keyboard accompaniment with it. It is an endless joy arranging and nudging the direction of the ensemble, even though its creative process remains democratic. UUCSS Children's Choir has been on hiatus due to the pandemic, but will return this fall. Yay! As Audrey Engdahl, my fantastic co-leader, will draft a full season of performances for our services next year. I appreciate her so much. She's so amazing. The UUCSS, our unique ukulele and singing ensemble, which covers pop and folk songs from over the decades. They started as a strumming circle, if I've got this right, which brought together members of the church in music and fellowship, and very often stepped in to serve the musical needs of our services. I especially love their professionalism and stylish music delivery. Thank you, thank you. The Distant Learners, have you heard of them? A multi-talented ensemble that emerged during the pandemic out of the necessity to generate virtual music videos. Members are Maria Paoletti, voice, fiddle, percussion, Jacob Howley, her husband, guitarist, Jeremy Holt, vocals, guitar, and acoustic bass guitar, which he bought over the pandemic and is playing very well, and Anna Molpus, the vocalist, a vocalist. They began using the a cappella app, which they discovered was very janky to use. So then we all worked together to collaborate on many exciting projects, creating beautiful videos together, expanding toward a more ambitious projects as we went along. I want to ask for a large round of applause for these and many other ad hoc ensembles we've been putting together this year and over the years. There are just too many to mention. And it would take me too long to mention all the fantastic volunteers who contribute so much sonic joy for our congregation individually. So let's have a round of applause for all those ensembles. Thank you. And to... I guess that will come, I don't know. I'll take a bow at the end. And our wonderful pianists that we have on staff with me, the music staff, is our fantastic, wonderful pianist of 30 years, Phyllis Stanley, who's been with us, and we're going to celebrate her 30 years this fall with a very, very special event, and she may have just heard that on Zoom. So be there, Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis. Thank you, AV and IT people who've also been mentioned. Thank you so much. You're part of the music, and we intersect a lot. So I could not do this without you. The other pianists who have stepped in for Phyllis, by the way, I'd have to mention Jim Paoletti and Carl Miller, who valiantly stepped in while Phyllis has her finger being healed. She broke a finger. 8 weeks ago. So finally, our music committee, consisting of Tina Borer, the chair, Deborah Thornton, Bob McGoy, Ron Turner, who all work so tirelessly behind the scenes to assist our music program, to make it happen, and make my job so much easier and enjoyable. I am giving special thanks today to Tina, who has been our committee chair for 6 years and is now stepping down this summer after countless hours of selfless service to the music program and to our church. Thank you, Tina, wherever you are. So thank you. For the past 18 years, my cup has runneth over and has never been empty. We are all so lucky to enjoy the musical riches of our religious community, and all I can say is thank you, everyone. So thank you. Now I'll take my bow.
I would like to thank Maggie Hayes for her strong and steady service as president of the board. Maggie, I really enjoy working together with you, your attention to detail, and I especially appreciate your superpower for writing good policy. So, thank you. There's a card and a miniature rosette here on the table for you. The second and third people that I would like to recognize today are Pat Scheid and Maureen Leroy for their incredible service leading the resettlement task force this year. Pat and Maureen approached me in the fall about the possibility of forming a team to sponsor a refugee family from Afghanistan. Since then, they've helped to raise funds. They led the effort to apply to become a sponsor. They coordinated support for the Pina family from UUCSS volunteers, helped the family navigate various national and state systems, managed the family's move into their new apartment with the help of lots of volunteers from the congregation, and most recently provided childcare and moral support as Mom Jamila welcomed their new baby just this last week. And thank you again to Stephanie for your role in this. Thank you, Pat and Maureen. And finally, I would like to recognize and thank Emily Harris, who has disappeared. Emily Harris, whose quiet but steady service has spanned probably more roles than I'm even aware of. Emily serves as a collector, ensuring money gets where it needs to go, a gardener beautifying our grounds. She's the vice president of personnel, which is an office of the board, and let me tell you how much work there's been this year as the VP of personnel. And she has served as an RE teacher as well. Emily, when she gets back, I will make sure she gets her gift. I'm very thankful to Emily for her outstanding service to UUCSS. It's truly an honor to serve with her.
All right. I now invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we recite together a litany of appreciation for all who have served our congregation this year in whatever role. The words will sort of be on your screen. The refrain is simply the phrase, "and so we thank you." Let's practice saying that together. And so we thank you. All right. When there was a need, you came forward, and so we thank you. In the nighttime or daytime, on weekends, and even in the coldest, darkest part of the year, you helped, and so we thank you. Elected and duly appointed, or quietly, anonymously, and unbidden, you did what needed doing, and so we thank you. Sometimes with the help of many hands, other times alone you worked. And so we thank you. You gave your time, talent, and even your treasure for the life of the congregation. And so we thank you. Your families and loved ones supported you in your efforts, worried for you when things piled up, and perhaps grumbled at you for the extent of your commitment. And so we thank your families and loved ones. For all things great and small you have given this congregation, we take time today to recognize, to thank you, and to honor you. Thanks, everybody.
The financial offerings that fuel the flame of this community don't just drop from the sky. They come from hard work and sacrifice. We are grateful for all the ways that all of you offer your gifts. This is one way that we as a people of faith are more powerful together than we are apart. As you can see on the screen, there are many ways to give your gift to UUCSS. If you are here in person, you can also place your offering in one of the offering plates that will be passed around during the music. The offering will now be given and received with gratitude and hope.
Say it to our papas, say it to our children too. My friends love to hear it, I love to hear it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lunchtime and dinner too. My friends love to hear it, I love to hear it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, hey, love to hear it. Thank you. Love to hear it. Thank you. Very much, very. We can say it in Spanish, German, Kiswahili, French and Chinese too. My friends, I love to hear it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Merci, merci, merci beaucoup. Merci, merci, merci beaucoup. Gracias, gracias, muchas, muchas gracias. Gracias, muchas, muchas gracias. Asante sana. Gracias. Asante sana. Muchas, muchas gracias. Gracias, muchas, muchas gracias. Gracias, muchas, muchas gracias. Shukran, tislamedeki. Shukran, tislamedeki. Arigato. Shukran, tislamedeki. We can say it when we're laughing, say it when we're crying, say it when we're standing still. My friends, I love love to hear it. Thank you, 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 thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Maggie Hayes, a member of the Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she and her. Our church is not only the organization that puts together these services, we are a vibrant community of volunteers, as we have just recognized and honored, volunteers and staff, a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, and a part of the global UU denomination. Today, we have 4 announcements. First, speaking of gratitude for folks volunteering, it's time to volunteer for next year's religious education programming. Ooh! There is a clipboard in the back of the sanctuary to put your name down and indicate your interest, or you can find Reverend Laura after the service today to let her know you're interested in volunteering, or email her at amsg@uucss.org. Now, very importantly, all members of the congregation, whether you're here in the sanctuary or online, are invited and encouraged to stay after the service for our annual meeting. I think we'll have a very brief break between the end of the service and the beginning of the meeting, but it'll be a very brief one. This is our annual business meeting where this year we will elect new members of the board and the Leadership Development Committee, and also approve the budget for the church year that begins July 1st. This congregation is strongest when all members who are able participate in this once-a-year meeting to make important decisions and share important information together. If you are not a member of UUCSS, you are certainly still welcome to attend the meeting, but please know that according to our bylaws, only members may vote. Third, if you haven't signed up for the Catoctin trip in September, please do so as soon as you can. Full details about the trip, when it's happening, and who to contact with questions can be found in the all-church email. And now, Reverend Kristin has a very special and exciting announcement.
After several weeks of reviewing the job description, rewriting the job listing, conducting interviews, deliberating, and negotiating the letter of agreement, I am absolutely thrilled that we have hired a new assistant minister for spiritual growth. The Reverend Caitlin Cotter-Koilberg will be joining the UUCSS staff team in August as our new assistant minister for spiritual growth. Reverend Caitlin is a third-generation Unitarian Universalist who grew up in a vibrant mid-sized UU congregation down in East Tennessee and has since been part of UU communities all over the country. She's a former competitive storyteller and amateur theater enthusiast and loves children's literature, UU history, theology and polity, and multi-generational community life. She's also deeply committed to anti-racism and anti-oppression work and is a part of the disabled rights and neurodiversity movements. Reverend Caitlin has been a UU religious professional for 12 years and is coming to us after 4 years as the minister of the UU congregation of Charleston, West Virginia. Before that, she served in California as Assistant Minister of Congregational Life and Learning in Santa Barbara and Director of Religious Exploration in Berkeley, the other Berkeley Fellowship, not the one that I served, as well as chaplain resident for a hospital in Minnesota and campus and intern minister in Davis, California. She has missed the East Coast and is excited to see what has happened to the space in Glen Echo Park, where she once designed an interactive animal exhibit on the, I don't know how to pronounce that word, intertidal zone. Her first career was in nature-based and museum education. She's been writing lesson plans professionally for about 20 years now. Reverend Caitlin's hobbies include toy photography. You can check out her Storm Tourist project on Instagram or Facebook. It is worth taking a look. Reading feminist fantasy and science fiction novels, chasing her 2-year-old, cooing at her 5-month-old, and napping. She and her beloved spouse, Asher, pronouns they, them, theirs, have been married since 2014. Before we sing our closing hymn together, I want to take a moment to thank the members of the search team whose thoughtfulness, commitment, and work have brought Reverend Caitlin to UUCSS. Please join me in thanking Emily Harris, Erica Anderson, Natasha Barden, Jamie Jorgensen, Jake Ryder, and Jen Colley. I am so happy. Let's rise and join in singing our closing hymn. Please join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. These words by Lauren Bellamy as our benediction. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Our worship now has ended, and our service begins.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm thankful for the air I'm breathing.
Amen.
'Cause I've been down and now I'm feeling
Something,
and I've got everything I'm needing.
believe in.
I'm thankful for the air I'm breathing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoa, say it to the sunshine, tell it to the blue sky. Thank you, thank you.
The birds are singing our sweet song.
Go on,
Yeah, I've got friends that I can count on.
lifelong,
And every day will bring a new dawn.
each one.
So I keep singing our sweet song.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, say it to the sunshine, tell it to the blue sky. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Tell it to the sunshine, tell it to the blue sky. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Whoa, say it to the sunshine, tell it to the blue sky. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Whoa, tell it to the sunshine, tell it to the blue sky. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.